Yes. There's this thing when you're 18 years old, you have to go out into the bush, and you spend about no more than 3 months. Some people spend less time, but no more than 3 months, and you have to be self-sufficient for that 3 months. By
yourself?
With other people that are going through the rite of passage with you. I went with 2 other guys, but before that, you get circumcised.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of know the story, but can you tell us a bit more? Because I just listened to it on the podcast.
Yeah. So it's it's your choice. So they let you know that this is what the ritual is all about.
Right.
And before the idea was that you're getting circumcised so that you prevent yourself from getting any diseases on your penis or whatever. But now it's not relevant because medicine is obviously
moved along.
Yeah. So you can actually have foreskin and not worry about getting infections or shit like that.
I do have foreskin and infections.
Yeah, but a lot of people have now taken it and transformed it and made it sort of like a traditional thing.
Right.
And
just to keep it in the culture.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. It's kind of like a way of manufacturing some sort of belonging, right? So a lot of young men, myself included, choose to do this, but if you don't want to, it's not held against you.
Right.
So I chose to do this, and I was part of 3 guys who went to the bush.
Right.
And I was the biggest and the oldest one, so I had to go through that process first.
Really? Okay.
And they used a spear, right? And
like a metal spear, like an old...
an old metal spear. And
what was the metal, do you remember?
I can't remember the metal, but I mean, I remember thinking...
Is it zinc?
No, it wasn't zinc. No, it was cast. It was like a cast iron, but
right.
It seemed like a cast iron, but it was sharp. That was one thing for sure.
Right.
And I also remember hearing from the other elderly guys who were there that they'd also gone through the same process with the same
spear.
The same spear, yeah. It's sterilized and through heat and whatnot. So, and they
just leave it outside in the sun. South Africa, man.
Yeah, it's hot, and and then of course, like there's a whole lot of things that are involved in this. Like people actually die from this because sometimes they're not taken care of properly.
Right.
But yeah, I went through this. And the reason they went for me first was because I was the biggest, and they were worried that if I saw it happen to the other guys, I would fight them off and not want it to get done.
Right.
So they were like, okay, you go first, and I went first. And honestly, I literally had a tear rolling down my eye when they did it.
So I'm not super familiar with circumcision. What exactly do they cut?
Pretty much they pull your penis back, right? So you see the forehead,
right? And then there's that string that connects the top to the...
Yeah, so they look for the string so that they don't actually damage this, and then they look for excess bit of flesh, right? And then they remove this excess bit of flesh.
Okay.
And then after they remove this excess bit of flesh, they take I forgot what Anna called it, like the husk of the corn,
right?
And then they wrap it with the husk of the corn,
right?
But they put some sort of herbal.
I'm crossing my legs for the I can't see.
Herbal mixture with the husk of the corn, so it can help heal the wound. Yeah.
Right. Pretty tense. So it's not the string. I always thought they cut the string.
No.
Interesting. It's just the skin around it.
Yeah.
And then they just
extra skin. They try and keep the string because if they cut this, I think you would be in a lot of pain. Like
one of my friends had he was having sex with this girl, and then apparently it was quite violent, and the string broke.
The banjo string broke.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes, and he was like, you're saying like it's just the amount of blood that comes out when you can bleed to death.
Yeah, it's pretty painful. Like I think after the circumcision, I also realized how sensitive that part of your penis is. Right. Like it's super sensitive.
Very intense. Yeah. Okay, so you got circumcised, and then they send you to the bush. There you go, to the bush you go. With the circumcised penis.
Yeah, with the circumcised penis. So you heal there. And it's part of the whole like building your character,
Right.
Like you're going through like this whole body exchange, and you're in pain, and you sort of have to keep a positive attitude,
right?
And try and survive the first 2 weeks while you're trying to heal. And then after you've healed, you're like, oh well, it wasn't too bad. It's over now, It's and you move on to the surviving the sort of like the rest of the time while you're there.
Just trying to survive without food.
Yeah, pretty much, But I mean, it becomes more boring now because you're not as in as much pain, and you're not concentrating on the pain any longer. You have to worry about how to keep yourself entertained during the day and shit like that.
But where do you get the food from?
I mean, some depending on where you are, sometimes people bring food to you.
Okay.
If you're in a place where wildlife hasn't been seen for a long time, or if maybe there's not enough, fauna to eat in the area. But most of the time, you have to go out and hunt yourself.
Gotcha. Sounds a bit harsh, like send you in the bush with a limp dick, and no food,
Yeah.
So it's like, how the fuck am I gonna hunt rabbits? Like.
Oh no! I think in the first 2 weeks they have to feed you because they give you provisions. So because you can't do anything.
Nice.
I mean, the organ between your legs is in a state of emergency.
Right.
So you can't go hunt shit. If you maybe want to run after something that you've hurt, you won't be able to do it because you're in pain. So.
Right. Very interesting. So you spent like 3 months in the bush, or how long were you in the bush for?
Yeah, about 3 months.
So you just got food from other people, or did you actually hunt something?
Yeah, we did hunt. We learned how to hunt, like set up traps and shit like that.
What did you catch?
Small buck, rabbits, like all sorts of shit.
And then you just like roast over the fire, or?
Yeah, we build a fire and you roast it on there.
Oh shit, it's intense.
Yeah.
That was like in 2003, 2004?
2003, 2002, 2003.
So right after 9/11.
Yeah, right. Literally right after. Yeah, it was around that time.